And that being taken away from me that first time, that was very, very difficult.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!
Another topic that has come up in discussion with some of my viewers through my DMs is the idea of time heals everything. And I wanted to kind of talk about that today because a lot of people have reached out and asked me, how am I doing, since my father died? And that's going to be like one of the biggest things, I guess you could say, that kind of sticks with you when it comes to time heals everything, is like a death of a family member or someone who's super, super close to you. And I think more the reality of the situation is it's not that time heals everything, but time helps things become more bearable. Because I will never get over the fact, I will never be okay with the fact that my dad is physically gone. Because, it takes away from my ability that when good or bad things are happening in my life, I used to be able to call him and bounce things off of him. Like even though, in a lot of the podcasts that I talk about or reflect on my father, there was a bit of a conflict there, when I was living with him until I was 19 and moved out. But when I moved out and I started to realize like everything that he actually taught me to help me become a man was more helpful than how can I explain this? The conflict that we had was a personality situation where once I left home, I realized everything he was doing was actually for my benefit. So we became great friends once I left home and I realized all of these things, which I feel is what most people understand who don't have the best relationship with a parent until they leave home. And once that happened, whenever I wanted to do something in life or when I wanted to switch something in my life or something switched on me, I was able to reach out to him and have really good conversations on a honest adult to adult level, which was great. And when he first physically left this earth, it was very tough because it was the summer before my 40th. And when my 40th came around, it was the first time in 40 years that I did not hear my father's voice on the other end of the phone, if not in front of me, wishing me a happy birthday. And that for me, because I don't celebrate birthdays, and if I do, there's like 3 people that I hang out with on the day, and there's like maybe 3 or 4 people I wish to hear from on that day. And that being taken away from me that first time, that was very, very difficult. I remember the place I was staying in, and I remember crying because I just didn't get that phone call from him. And so here I am 7 years later, and I still think about that on my birthday. It's like I actually almost don't want to celebrate my birthday because I don't have him able to call me. And so time heals everything, I think, is a misunderstanding, because over time, if you take the time to learn from the situation and reflect on the situation and realize how lucky you were to have had all that time with that person, then it makes it easier as time goes on. Because as I've said before, I still talk to my father on really good and really bad days. And sometimes just on an average day, when I do my reflection in the evening, I still sometimes talk to my dad as if he was like there. I look up. That's maybe that's a trained thing that I do, that I look up to the sky when I talk to him. But in the conversations that I've had with other people about it, I'm doing fine because I always focus on all the amazing things that he taught me and all the amazing things that he still teaches me, because there are things that happen in my life that when they happen, I can feel his energy, or I can hear what he would say to me in that situation. And the coolest thing for me actually is, I would say in any given year, at least half a dozen times, I actually get to see him in my dreams. And at that time, when I'm dreaming about it, I actually know, like, I'm aware of the fact that I'm in a dream, and that in the reality that I live in, he's no longer there. But in this dimension, this whatever dimension you're in when you're sleeping, I'm able to talk to him. I'm able to see him. And when it happens, because I have that instant knowledge that it's not the reality that I'm normally in when I'm awake, I don't know, it just makes me feel really good, like as if he is. It almost affirms to me like he's still around. So to get back on topic, time heals everything. No, I think time just helps you navigate through whatever the situation is that has hurt you, harmed you, that you're dealing with, that you're going through. I think time just helps you deal with those situations in a more bearable way, because you don't really ever let go fully, I think, as much as we want to. You become okay with the way it is. And I'm not saying just become okay with the way it is with everything. I'm saying, like, if you have a breakup, if you have a loss of a friend or a family member, if you lose a job, if like any of these things that are loss that make you feel overwhelmed with sorrow, just realize that there's something to be learned from it, and you don't have to completely forget about it. You can always appreciate it for what it was, the person, the place, the thing. You can appreciate it for the time that you had it, and then you can realize in time you're going to be exactly where you need to be anyways. And so you will be able to deal with the times that emotion comes back over you. For example, every year at my birthday, I'm already aware that I'm not going to get a phone call from my father, and I'm now okay with the fact that it's not going to happen. A little bit of me is a bit sad on that day, but again, I think about all the times, like, my father never forgot to call me on my birthday every single year. That was like, I knew I was getting that phone call. And that thought switches my unhappy thought straight into like an uplifted, feel-good moment. And then I think about like all the things that he had done for me, like when he was alive. And there really isn't a reason for me to be upset anymore. I'm going to miss him for the rest of my life. I think that's a natural thing. I believe my brothers miss him every day. I know my mother misses him every day. But life goes on, and you have to be okay with that. No matter what negative situation might come your way, life goes on. You're a survivor, and you will eventually see the good in what has happened. So hopefully that answers people's questions about life, or time heals everything. My personal opinion is that time makes it more bearable. It helps you remember what you were happy about, and it allows you to somewhat let go of whatever negative emotion it might swallow you up in. It allows you to kind of be less brought down by it. So hopefully that helps you all. I'm enjoying doing these kind of ask and answer podcasts now. I do notice that most people are DMing me through the Lyfe Choyces Instagram. So I thank you very much for that. Again, if you want to shoot me, I know it's more private, so it's a bit easier for people to talk to me through there and the emails, obviously. But I would also love the dialogue to start happening down below here. So maybe, whoever's asking me the great questions, when I'm giving you the answers, I'm happy to do so. But I'd love to see if there's other people that might be thinking the same thing as you, if we can involve them as well, and we can just really start building this community to help one another start living and thinking and breathing healthier and happier. So thank you very much. I'll see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m., everyone. Much love.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You are now about
The Journey, Life Choices podcast.